We got these APC 3000 jokers. One of them worked, one of them didn't work, and they're just heavy. This tray, all the batteries were ballooned up, and it all kind of started from this. I cleaned this up some so far, but I'm gonna clean that up like really good with a wire brush. And I got 16 new batteries, and there's some more over there. What I'm doing is I'm just cleaning the connectors, and then I got some of this dielectric grease that well, you put it on a car battery, so it just seems like just a little extra because there was some corrosion on some of these. And we'll see what we can't get working here. This one works. The batteries are 3 years old though, so we're just going to go ahead and replace them too. And then I'm going to keep these batteries for, I don't know, spares, I guess. But these things are $2,000 to purchase, so each thing of batteries was $100, so it seems like it's worth giving it a shot. Worst case scenario, I come out of this with just one. We still saved quite a bit. So also, they did purchase the SNMP cards for both of them, so that's just another reason why to try to keep this thing working. So let's see what we can get going. Hopefully this thing will live. Oh, another thing I had to do, they have these 30-amp twist locks on here, and I replaced those with just regular 120 volt cord caps so that I can test it. But these are going to go back on once I get my receptacles in there. This is just to prove that they work. Okay, we got this joker pretty good, all back together. And I cleaned that guy up like crazy. And I got some of this like oxidizing stuff. And now this is just to see if the physical unit actually works. It's this one. I do believe it's that one. Yeah, because AVR boost. Yeah, okay. It's this one. This pack goes in, but it's I'll show you what I did for testing. Basically just took my amp meter here and plug in that, and you can see I got 51.8 volts. It's a 48 volt system, so once it's under load, that'll drop down to 48, probably 46. So let's go ahead and we'll see what happens. Whoa, I plugged it in. It made a hell of a noise, and I think it just ran a battery test. Telling me okay, this is trimming power. If power drops below 120, it's going to crank it back up. This is saying I'm on line power, and I think this is saying that it's too much power coming in. It's going to trim it. This is not enough power coming in. It's going to raise it. And then this is, I'm guessing, saying how long my batteries are. So I'm going to leave this alone now. And looks like it worked. I'm going to leave that alone until it gets to the last green bar. It'll probably take an hour or so to charge. I got a customer to go mess around with right quick. And then we're going to come back and we'll do this guy too. So this one's been holding like this for about an hour, and I'd say it's probably charged. This is the one that was working, and I was gonna just leave it the hell alone, but I'm glad I didn't, because even though it was working, I got battery acid now all over my fingers. I forget what I'm supposed to do to get that off, but you can see that thing is leaking and she corroding up in there. So we're going to go ahead and just disassemble this joker and replace all these batteries. There's no point in saving them because they're already failing. So I think what the worst thing for these is when they don't get used. I think you're supposed to like pull the power regularly, let them drain down for 5-10 minutes, and then plug them back in. Like, I think it's part of their normal life cycle. But we'll go ahead and we're going to clean this one up, and then I'm going to get it all into this rack so it's nice and clean, and put it all back together. And then I got my Arista 7050 and my Dell R620. I'm going to put them in this little rack too. I'm going to plug them in. I want to see how long these batteries can keep it going. It's actually a pretty neat experiment. What I'll do is I'll just time each light dropping on both of them, because there's no digital readout, or shit, maybe we can figure out how to flash the SNMP cards too. Then I can probably log in and tell you exactly what's going on. All right, got her all packed out. There's only one that was leaking, but one is still. So got our 51.7 volts. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll connect the battery here. It made a hell of a noise last time, so I'm not gonna record it because I need both my hands. And then we'll let this one charge up for a few, and I'm gonna clean up the rack, get these things put back together, I guess. What I'll do is I'll disconnect that one, put that one back together while this one's charging. All right, so when I turned the other one on, my screwdriver jumped. That's how much something inside is clipping. And I was hoping I could catch it this time. So I got it plugged into the wall. I'm gonna flip the switch here. This one's a lot quieter. Oh, because it didn't. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can catch this. I'm just gonna hit the power button. There we go. Good, it scared me. So when it flips the battery, all right. This one makes a lot more noise. I think this is an older unit though too. Like, they're both smart UPS 3000s, but something tells me this one wasn't. Yeah. Now it's down, you hardly even notice it's there. So I'm gonna flip it. 1-2 battery here. No. Tell if you hear the fan kicks on, and she beeping. All right, cool. So let's get her back online. That one's still charging up a little bit. Well, let's go get our equipment and do our quick test. Okay, so we got this set up. And I just noticed this is kind of neat. Is that's like yellow? So they don't just go black. It goes yellow, as if it's like almost charged. Kind of neat. We're gonna let that get to green because this is gonna be a perfect test. One thing is kind of annoying. It's not that big a deal, but I pulled these SNMP cards out, and didn't realize they had, I guess it's just a full computer on there. It's a BIOS battery and the works. I'm gonna reset it. We'll see how that goes. I think what I'm gonna do is stick my paper clip in there while I'm plugging it in. I don't know yet. But that one just has nothing to it. It's just, there's a reset and there's a single RJ45 cable on it, which is cool. It lights up as you would expect it to. Now this other one, gosh, I don't know what all it can do, but you figure network management. I don't really know what that is. I'm thinking it might be a surge protector, because I've seen that like on lower end ones. So I'm not sure there. It's got USB and it's got a console cable. This just looks, it's a different model, looks way newer. Look how that BIOS battery is. Isn't that interesting? It saves space by putting it on top of a chip. Yeah. Same thing, I'm going to go ahead and re-stick these jokers in. Now I have, I've read the back of this. Basically there's 3 circuits. There's this, which is 20 amp. There's 15 amp that goes to this, and then there's 15 amp that goes to this. Same thing over here. So what I did was I took one off of each, and I'm going to be plugging in the Arista 1 to 1, 2 to 2. Then I'm going to be plugging in our Dell R620. This is going to be our VIOS router. VIOS is probably how you put it said. What we've got here is we swapped out the mezzanine card because this is an Intel DA2 10 gig NIC. That gives us 2 SFP cages, and then which is supported by VIOS. So I got 2 technically on the motherboard. Using these for management, but it's nice to know that I even have 1 spare if I don't know what I'll do with it. And then these are 2x10 Intel DA2 network cards. So that one, and that one are all identical, and theoretically, according to the computer itself, it can't tell that these aren't also identical. So which is great. So we're going to be Cogent, Windstream, third provider, and then each NIC is going to LACP. These 2 and this one are going to LACP out into this Arista 7050. So I'm going to have 2 of these switches. One is going to be above this router and one's going to be below it as far as like the topology. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can have cold spares, I can have more stuff going on, and it's easier. Oh, the other reason is these DA2s will only take copper connections. It might take an AOC also, but it'll take a DAC cable basically. It'll also take SFPs to 10 gig. It will not take DWDM optics. It will not take bidirectional optics. It probably takes multi-mode optics, but I hate that. So I need to be able to receive services over single mode fiber, and I need to be able to send services over single mode fiber. So I'm taking DAC cables from here into the Arista above me, which is going to allow me to have more than 1 router. Then also I'm taking DAC cables out of this to the Arista below me in the topology so that I can send 80 kilometer optics out of it. So it was kind of a little bit of method to the madness there. The other thing in this particular test that we're about to perform is that there are no DACs plugged in to those. So technically each DAC would use power. That's fine. Flip side of that, these are all SAS drives. These are all 600 gig SAS drives. These 4 are in RAID 10, 0+1, and then these 3 are all hot spares in that. I actually had another one, but it just didn't spin up. It didn't work at all. So the flip side to it is I have no DACs, but these are going to be swapped out for SSDs eventually before this goes into production. So the power that's lacking back there, just assume that this has more, these spinners are using way more power than would be present. Then same thing over here, there's not the DAC cable, so let's just call it 1 extra watt times 6 ports. Let's just call it 10 watts more, and then let's call that just a wash. Well, I tried for a little bit. With this one, I held that reset button for 30 seconds. It did all its flashing, comes back up. It's still that IP address. Don't really know. I just didn't even mess with that one. But by default, according to just a quick Google search, by default they do not have a static IP set. Well, I read a post that said it's 192.168.2.66 is their shipped with static, but that didn't seem to work. And then I found a forum post from APC, and it says that it does not come with a static IP address. In fact, that its default is looking for a DHCP address to be given to it. And I'm going to be changing those BIOS passwords. I'm sorry, BIOS batteries anyway on these things, so I'm not even going to really mess with that just yet. They're ultimately going to be plugged into our management network that does have DHCP and blah blah blah. So I am, however, about to fire these things up. Going to plug in our equipment, probably do the Arista first because it's sodium loud. We're going to plug this in and run these batteries. I think I might go grab something to eat, and then we'll come back and we'll test. We'll try to get like a what does this look like in 1 hour from losing all line power. So just give me a second. I'll get these plugged in and we'll see what we got. All right, everything's still, the Arista's out of its loud boot sequence. This is a forward air flow. And pretty much when you plug these in and the fans, they come up like crazy and then they go right back down to normal, that pretty much tells you they're going into a normal boot cycle. If the fans stay on max blast, then you might want to pull up your console because there's probably a problem. This guy is going to boot up. It's going to take a minute because I'm using the mirror memory mode. It's got 128 gigs of RAM, but I got it set in 64 gig mirror. Hoping that then I can take memory errors better. I don't know if I leave it like that or not. It's going to be checking the RAID and all that. Once that gets to the next Simple Fiber BIOS number 1, we're going to have a BIOS 2 and a BIOS 3. And as you hear now, the sound just changed dramatically. A little bit of warmth coming out of these things, nothing weird. Just a pretty cool little test here. And what I'm probably going to do, take these batteries to get recycled. These guys, yeah, I'll just do that right now. I'll just take these, clean up my mess a little bit, move this back so nobody messes with it. And what my last step is, I'm going to go over there to the wall and pull the power. And we'll see. We'll see if these things work. I hope they do. Oh, so this is our current pop. You guys have seen hundreds and hundreds of times. And right next door, this was a storage unit. And pretty much like right here, we're going to come through the wall, land right on our ladder on the other side. And this is going to give us some more space, but this is going to give us the ability to put 4-post racks in. We're going to put our routers, our batteries, routers, core switching and stuff in this rack. Pretty much power at the bottom, network and stuff at the top. In the middle will be mostly empty. Got a bunch of rack mount power strips, shelves. We got this portable air conditioner, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to throw that thing in the corner, vent it up out of here, and then I did get, I didn't bring it in, but got these crazy lights at Home Depot. It was just so we can see in here now. But there used to be a door here. They're going to patch this up for us. Then we're going to put that FRP all around, and there's like some old 50 count, 25 count cables running through here. Just gonna clean up some of it, I guess. I don't really care about it. Yeah, so just right out here in the hallway. This is like the old elevators. Check this out. So as the elevator car is changing, look right here. I'm going to spin the wheel. See how the contacts change? Basically telling you what floor you're on. Pretty cool. We saved it because it was ridiculous. So there was 2 of these. There's some more of the parts. There's 2 of these. And they, oh, look at this. How crazy this is. That one's dragging on something. But, excuse me. They, it took up 100 square feet of just racks and equipment, and the new elevator, it's so tiny, it just mounts to the wall. There's a little control box and a little DC motor. That's it. We got battery acid on me. But I think now it's going to be the moment of truth on these things. I don't know if it's yellow. It does look different right there. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just fine. This one's been on for a couple hours. But I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and pull them from the wall one at a time. Well, hell, let's do them both at the same time if we can. I'll just pull. I'm going to just pull the one at a time. This will be A coming off. Whoa, boy. There's B coming off. Definitely sounds like more. My equipment's still on. That's great. It's a good sign. So pretty much instantly the one bar went away. And what I'm going to do is come back and check this in about a half hour. And we'll see where it's at in 30 minutes. And that's just 2 running an Arista 7050 and a Dell R620. There's 2 CPUs in here, 128 gigs of RAM. I think it's not every memory slot populated, but every PCI slot is populated. So we I'm at about an hour and 5 minutes. An hour and 5 minutes. And this guy here looks like she's about to go. not beeping yet. This one is. So I'm just gonna plug the B back in. So an hour and 5 minutes is pretty chill. Yeah, so that was an hour and 5. And that's probably because I didn't allow the battery to go 100%. Because this one's still cranking. She's still slamming. I mean, so I think that's that was a pretty successful test there. We got the Arista rocking, and the server still rocking. Nothing turned off. But this guy, I think this one, I think we probably had another 10 to 15 minutes on this guy, and I had probably had another hour to charge this guy. And that was an hour and 5 minutes. So